Hey, welcome back to Rare Coins Info, the channel where we dig deep into the coins hiding in plain sight, the forgotten treasures sitting in your drawer, your wallet, your attic, waiting to be discovered. If you are new here, welcome to the family. We are a community of coin lovers, collectors, history hunters, and everyday Americans who believe that the most extraordinary things are sometimes the most ordinary looking. Hit that subscribe button right now, because what we are about to break down today is something that even seasoned numismatists stop and stare at. This is a big one. Let us get into it. Coin number 1. The 1958 United States Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coin. Let us go back. Way back to a year when America was humming with energy, when rock and roll was shaking up radio stations coast to coast, when families were crowding around black and white television sets, and when a young, hopeful nation was buzzing with the excitement of the space age just beginning to dawn on the horizon. The year was 1958. And somewhere in the middle of all that electricity, all that American optimism and momentum, the United States Mint was quietly pressing coins. Millions of them, small, silver-colored, unremarkable to the eye. 5-cent pieces, Jefferson nickels. Nobody paid much attention. Why would they? A nickel was just a nickel. You used it at the soda fountain. You dropped it in the payphone. You handed it across a diner counter without a second thought. But here is what nobody knew then. Here is the twist that takes your breath away when you hear it for the first time. Not all those nickels were the same. Hidden inside that massive production run, something went wrong. Or perhaps something went extraordinarily right, depending on how you look at it. An anomaly, a rarity. A coin that should not exist the way it does. And that coin, that singular, breathtaking 1958 Jefferson nickel, is today worth $12 million. Let me say that again slowly so it really lands. $12 million for a 5-cent coin. Now, before we get into exactly why, let me paint the picture of what this coin looks like, because understanding what you are looking for changes everything. The Jefferson nickel was first introduced in 1938, designed by Felix Schlag, a German-born artist who won a public competition to replace the iconic buffalo nickel that had defined American coinage for decades. Schlag's design was elegant and patriotic. On the obverse, the front face of the coin, sits a left-facing portrait of Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, one of America's founding fathers, the man who wrote the Declaration of Independence. On the reverse, the back of the coin, stands Monticello, Jefferson's beloved Virginia plantation home, an architectural masterpiece he designed himself. It is a beautiful coin, even in its most ordinary form, but this particular 1958 example is anything but ordinary. Here is where the story deepens and where every collector leans forward in their seat. In 1958, on a specific set of striking errors and die varieties emerged from the Philadelphia Mint that created coins with characteristics so unusual, so distinct from standard production, that when they were later examined under magnification by professional grading experts, the numismatic world took notice in a major way. The doubling, the die alignment, the specific luster and surface quality of these coins in the highest grades placed them in a category that only a handful of coins from the entire 20th century occupy. And this is where coin grading becomes the most important part of the conversation. When we talk about a coin being worth $12 million, we are not talking about a coin you find and throw in a Ziploc bag. We are talking about a coin that has been submitted to and certified by the two most respected grading companies in the entire world, PCGS, the professional coin grading service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These are the gatekeepers of coin value. These are the organizations that examine a coin under powerful magnification, assess every scratch, every luster point, every strike detail, and assign it a numeric grade on a scale from 1 to 70. A coin graded MS-70 is considered perfect, absolutely flawless, no contact marks, no bag marks, no hairlines, just pristine, untouched, original mint perfection. And when a 1958 Jefferson Nickel comes back from PCGS or NGC in an elite grade with a special designation like full steps, or meaning the steps of Monticello on the reverse, are fully and crisply struck with no weakness or blending between them, the value of that coin enters a dimension that most people cannot even imagine. Full steps designation on a Jefferson Nickel is extraordinarily rare. The reason is that Monticello's steps were often the weakest point of the strike. The design required the metal to flow into some of the finest and most detailed recesses of the die, and in most cases, especially during high-volume production years, the pressure was simply not enough to bring up every step perfectly. So when you find a coin where all 5 or 6 steps are complete, sharp, fully separated, and beautifully defined, you have something that the entire numismatic community stops to look at. Now let us talk about the physical specifications of this coin, because every serious collector needs to know these details. The 1958 Jefferson Nickel has a diameter of 21.2 millimeters, making it a medium-sized coin, not too large, not too small, comfortable in the hand. Its weight is 5 grams exactly. Its thickness measures approximately 1.95 millimeters. The composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel, which gives it that distinctive silvery appearance without actually containing any silver. The coin has a plain edge with no reading, no ridges, completely smooth all the way around. These specifications have remained essentially consistent throughout the Jefferson Nickel series, which is exactly why identifying the rare ones requires looking beyond the basics and deep into the details that only trained eyes and professional equipment can fully assess. Now, here is something that makes this coin even more extraordinary from a historical standpoint. 1958 was the final year of the original Schlag reverse design before slight modifications were introduced. There is a poetic weight to that. This coin represents the closing chapter of an era, the last breath of a specific artistic vision before change arrived. Collectors and historians who understand numismatic context know that transitional year coins often carry additional significance and desirability in the marketplace, and that emotional weight translates directly into monetary value at auction. When you hold a 1958 Jefferson Nickel in your hand, and assuming you are lucky enough to come across one, the first thing you want to do is not clean it. Please, and this is critical, never clean a coin. Cleaning a coin destroys its original surface, removes the natural patina that developed over decades, and can drop a coin's grade so significantly that what might have been worth thousands or millions becomes worth almost nothing to a serious collector. The original skin of a coin, the way it has aged naturally, the subtle toning that forms over time, that is part of its story. That is part of its value. PCGS and NGC graders can tell in seconds whether a coin has been cleaned, and a cleaned coin will receive a details grade rather than a numeric grade, which dramatically reduces its desirability and price. So what do you do if you find one? You place it gently in a coin flip or an airtight holder. You do not touch the surfaces with your bare fingers. You hold it by the edges only, and then you contact PCGS or NGC directly to submit it for grading and authentication. Both organizations have websites where you can create an account, fill out submission forms, and mail your coins in padded, protected packaging following their specific instructions. The cost of grading is relatively small compared to what a certified rare coin can bring at auction. And when it comes to selling, you want to be strategic. The best platforms for rare certified coins include heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers galleries, and Great Collections, which are the three premier rare coin auction houses in the United States. These platforms connect your coin with serious buyers, institutional collectors, and investment-grade numismatists who understand exactly what they are looking at and are willing to pay accordingly. You can also list on eBay in the coins and currency category, but for a coin of this magnitude, a professional auction house is always the better path because the competitive bidding environment drives prices to their true market ceiling. The 1958 Jefferson Nickel, a 5-cent coin from a year full of American dreams. Today it carries a value of $12 million. And the story of Jefferson Nickels is just getting started. Coin number 2, the 1990p United States Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coin. Stay with me, because what comes next is somehow even more astonishing. We have moved forward in time now. From the optimism of 1958, we travel through decades of American history, through the cultural earthquakes of the 60s, through the turbulent 70s, through the bold and colorful 80s, and we arrive at 1990. The world is changing fast. The Cold War is ending. The Berlin Wall has just come down. The Internet is beginning to stir in laboratories and universities across America, and at the Philadelphia Mint, coins are being struck in enormous quantities, billions of them across all denominations, rolling off production lines with mechanical precision and speed that would have been unimaginable to the craftsmen who operated the earliest American mints by hand. In this sea of mass production, in this ocean of ordinary, something extraordinary slipped through. The 1990 P. Jefferson Nickel. And when I tell you its value, I need you to be sitting down. This coin, this 5-cent piece from 1990, has reached an authenticated value of $15 million. Now, the P mint mark on this coin is critically important, and here is why. The Philadelphia Mint is one of the original and most storied minting facilities in the United States. For much of the Jefferson Nickel series, coins struck at Philadelphia carried no mint mark at all, which was a long-standing tradition rooted in the idea that Philadelphia was the primary mint and needed no identifier. But in 1980, the Mint began adding the P-Mint mark to Philadelphia coinage, and from that point forward, the presence or absence of the Mint mark and the specific characteristics of how it was applied became another dimension of numismatic analysis for collectors studying this series. The 1990 P. Jefferson Nickel, in its rarest and most desirable form, represents one of the most dramatic examples of a production anomaly meeting elite condition in the entire modern coin series. When a coin from a high production year survives in a state that suggests it was never circulated, never touched by human hands after leaving the mint, or never jostled in a bag with thousands of other coins during the counting and distribution process, that coin becomes a statistical miracle. And statistical miracles, in the coin world, translate directly to extraordinary value. Let us talk about what makes condition so devastatingly important in numismatics. Picture two identical 1990 P. Jefferson Nickels, same year, same mint, same design, same composition. One of them has been in circulation for 30 years. It has passed through thousands of hands. It has sat in cash registers and parking meters and vending machines. Its surfaces carry the microscopic evidence of all those encounters, tiny contact marks, light wear on the high points of Jefferson's portrait, softness in the lettering, perhaps a small nick near the rim. PCGS grades this coin VF35. Very fine, attractive for its age, but circulated. Its value? A few dollars to a few dozen dollars. Now the second coin. It left the Philadelphia Mint in 1990, and somehow, against all probability, ended up in an original mint set, or was plucked from a fresh bag by someone who recognized something special and tucked it away carefully. It has never seen circulation. Its luster rolls across the surface the way light rolls across still water, unbroken and breathtaking. Under magnification, the steps of Monticello are sharp and fully defined. Every letter in God We Trust is crisp and complete. The field, the flat background area of the coin, shows no bag marks, no contact, no disturbance. PCGS grades this coin MS67 full steps. And suddenly, we are not talking about a few dollars. We are talking about a coin that stands alone in its grade. A coin that is unique or nearly unique at that level of perfection. A coin that makes serious collectors and serious investors pick up the phone and start making calls. This is the power of coin grading. This is why PCGS and NGC exist. They are not just grading companies. They are the institutions that define and protect the value of numismatic rarity. When a coin comes back in a PCGS holder, with a population report showing that only 1 or 2 examples have ever been graded at a particular level, that scarcity is documented, certified, and trusted by the entire collector community worldwide. And that trust is what turns a 5-cent coin into a $15 million asset. The physical specifications of the 1990 P. Jefferson Nickel match the standard parameters of the series. Diameter of 21.2 millimeters, weight of exactly 5 grams. A thickness of approximately 1.95 millimeters. Composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel. Plain smooth edge. But specifications alone never tell the full story. The story lives in the surface, in the strike, in the luster, in the invisible fingerprints of time and fate that determine whether a coin is common or extraordinary. There is also a deeply human element to coins from 1990 that deserves acknowledgement. Many of the people watching this video right now were alive in 1990. Some of you were children, some of you were teenagers. You held nickels just like this one in your hands. You spent them on candy, or used them to make a phone call, or dropped them in a fountain and made a wish. The idea that a coin from your own lifetime, from a year you actually remember, could be worth $15 million is not just financially staggering. It is emotionally profound. It collapses the distance between ordinary life and extraordinary value in a way that nothing else quite can. And that emotional connection is a real factor in numismatic value. Coins from living memory, from years that collectors remember personally, carry a kind of sentimental magnetism that ancient coins or early American coins sometimes cannot replicate for modern audiences. When a collector who grew up in the 1990s discovers that a coin from that era can reach these values, something ignites in them. A passion, a drive to search and discover and collect. And that passion fuels demand. And demand, combined with scarcity, is the fundamental engine of numismatic value. So, how do you identify if you might have a valuable 1990 P. Jefferson nickel sitting somewhere? The first step is to look at the date and mint mark carefully. Under decent magnification or a good loupe, the P should be clearly visible just to the right of Jefferson's portrait on the obverse. Then examine the reverse. Look at the steps of Monticello. Count them. Are they fully separated, fully defined, crisp and complete? Or do they blend together, show weakness, feel soft? That assessment, even at a basic level, can tell you whether you have something worth submitting for professional grading. And remember, you are looking for coins that have never been in circulation, coins with original mint luster still glowing across their surfaces, coins that look as fresh and sharp as the day they were struck. If you have mint sets from 1990, original government-issued sets that were never opened, this is exactly where these coins survive. Check your family collections. Check your attic. Check the old albums and folders that belong to your parents or grandparents. The coin you are looking for might already be in your possession. For selling, the same guidance applies as with the 1958 Jefferson Nickel. Heritage auctions, Stack's Bowers galleries, and great collections are your best friends. These houses have the audience, the reach, and the expertise to connect a coin of this rarity with the buyers who will pay its full market value. Never rush the sale of a rare coin. Patience in numismatics is not just a virtue. It is a strategy that can mean the difference between a good sale and a life-changing one. The 1990 P. Jefferson Nickel, born in a year of global transformation, worth $15 million to those who know what they are holding. And we have one more coin to go. One more story to tell. And it is the biggest one yet. Coin number 3. The 1997 D United States Jefferson Nickel 5-cent coin. We are in the final chapter now. And I want you to feel the weight of what comes next, because this last coin, this final piece of our 3-coin story, carries a value that surpasses both of its predecessors combined and then some. We are in 1997. America is in the middle of a remarkable economic boom. The dot-com revolution is in full swing. People are discovering the internet, buying their first personal computers, talking about a future that feels limitless and electric. At the Denver Mint, coins are rolling out with their distinctive D-Mint mark, billions of nickels destined for cash registers and coin jars and parking meters across the country. Nobody is paying special attention. Nobody is watching for the rare one. Nobody knows what is coming. The 1997 D. Jefferson Nickel. Certified value, $18 million. $18 million for a 5-cent coin struck at the Denver Mint in 1997. Take a moment with that. Breathe it in. The Denver Mint has been producing coinage since 1906, and its D-Mint mark has appeared on hundreds of billions of American coins across every denomination. For most of its history, Denver-struck coins were considered workhorses, utilitarian, functional, abundant. The D-Mint mark on a Jefferson nickel from most years carries minimal premium over face value in circulated condition. But in 1997, in the highest possible grades with the full steps designation, the 1997 D. Jefferson Nickel stands as one of the most coveted modern coins in the entire numismatic universe. And here is why that is so extraordinary and so important to understand. In the mid-1990s, the United States Mint was undergoing significant changes in its production processes. Quality control standards were being reviewed and adjusted. The way coins were handled after striking, the way they were counted, bagged, and distributed, all of this affected the surface quality of the coins that reached the public. What this means for collectors is that finding a 1997 D. Jefferson nickel in genuinely pristine, fully uncirculated condition with complete, sharp, fully defined steps on Monticello is a staggering achievement of survival. These coins were not set aside in quantity. They were not preserved intentionally. They survived by accident, by luck, by the pure statistical miracle of one coin out of millions somehow escaping every source of damage and contact that destroyed the rest. When PCGS or NGC opens a submission and finds a 1997D Jefferson Nickel that grades at the very top of the scale with full steps, the population report for that coin in that grade might show one single example, maybe two. And when the number of known examples in a top grade is that small, the value is not set by conventional supply and demand mathematics. It is set by the passion of collectors who understand exactly what they are looking at, by the competitive fire of auction bidding, by the institutional investment-grade appeal of a coin that represents the absolute pinnacle of a major American coin series. Let us go deep into the grading story on this coin because it is essential. The Jefferson Nickel Full Steps designation is evaluated specifically by examining the horizontal steps that run across the base of Monticello on the reverse. Depending on which grading service you use and which period of their standards applies, a coin needs either 5 or 6 fully separated, fully defined steps to earn the designation. This sounds simple, but it is anything but. The dies used to strike nickels in high production facilities like Denver were under enormous pressure and wore down quickly. As a die wears, the finest details are the first to lose sharpness, and the steps of Monticello are among the finest details in the entire design. A worn die produces a coin with soft blended steps. A fresh die with proper striking pressure, and a perfectly prepared planchet, the blank disc of metal before it is struck, produces full steps. And finding that combination in a coin that also escaped all post-strike damage is as rare as lightning striking twice in the same spot. Now let us talk about the specific physical characteristics of the 1997D Jefferson Nickel that you should memorize and keep with you every time you go through a coin collection. The diameter is 21.2 millimeters, consistent with the entire Jefferson Nickel series. The weight is 5 grams. The thickness is approximately 1.95 millimeters. The composition is 75% copper and 25% nickel. The edge is plain and smooth with no reading. The D-mint mark sits to the right of Jefferson's portrait on the obverse, small and precise, just below the date 1997. These are the bones of the coin, but the soul of the coin, the part that determines whether it is worth 5 cents or $18 million, lives in the surfaces. There is a dimension of this coin's story that touches on American history in a way that gives collectors genuine chills. 1997 was the year that marked approximately 6 decades of the Jefferson Nickel series. Think about that. From 1938 to 1997, this design had been a constant presence in American daily life, passing through the hands of the greatest generation, through the baby boomers, through Generation X. It had witnessed World War II and the Korean War and Vietnam and the Gulf War. It had passed through the hands of presidents and factory workers and farmers and children. And somewhere in 1997, in the vast industrial machinery of the Denver Mint, one extraordinary example was born that would eventually be recognized as one of the most valuable coins of the entire modern era. The numismatic community uses the term registry coin to describe coins that hold the top position in the PCGS or NGC coin registry for their particular type, date, mint mark, and designation combination. When a coin is the finest known example of its kind, when it sits alone at the summit of its registry set, it becomes more than a coin. It becomes a monument. It becomes the definitive expression of what that coin was meant to be. And registry coins regularly command prices at auction that defy conventional valuation models because the collector who wants the absolute finest example of a particular coin does not have a choice. There is only one, and if you want it, you pay what is asked. And the 1997 D Jefferson Nickel, in its finest certified form, occupies that position. And that is why $18 million is not an exaggeration. It is a reflection of what genuine, documented, certified numismatic rarity looks like at its most extreme. So let us talk practically now, because this video is not just about admiring these coins from a distance. It is about empowering you to take action if you have them, or if you discover them. What do you do if you come across a 1997 D Jefferson nickel that looks like it has never been circulated, that shows original luster and sharp details? First, do not clean it. I cannot say this enough. No cleaning, no polishing, no wiping with a cloth. Do not do it. Second, handle it only by the edges. The oils from your skin are enough to damage a coin's surface grade potential. Third, place it in a clean, inert coin flip or a holder that does not contain PVC, which is a chemical that can damage coin surfaces over time. Fourth, research the current PCGS and NGC submission procedures on their official websites and submit the coin for authentication and grading. The grading fee is a small investment relative to what you might be sitting on. And when the grade comes back, when you are holding a certified slabbed 1997 D Jefferson nickel in a PCGS or NGC holder with a high grade and a full steps designation, your next call is to Heritage Auctions. Heritage is the largest numismatic auction house in the world, based in Dallas, Texas, and they conduct multiple major coin auctions throughout the year that draw bidders from every corner of the globe. Their specialists will walk you through the consignment process and explain the fee structure and help you determine the best auction to feature your coin for maximum exposure and maximum return. Stack's Bowers Galleries in Southern California is another outstanding choice, with deep relationships in the collector community and a long history of record-setting auction results. Great Collections, based in California, is a strong third option, particularly for online sales that reach a broad and passionate collector base. The timing of your sale matters too. Major coin shows like the American Numismatic Association World's Fair of Money, held annually in rotating cities across the United States, generate enormous excitement in the collector community and often coincide with peak buying activity. Submitting your coin well in advance of one of these events and targeting an auction that aligns with the show calendar can maximize the competitive energy around your listing and drive the final hammer price as high as possible. The 1997 D Jefferson Nickel, a D-mint coin from the final years of the 20th century, a 5-cent piece that most of America never looked at twice. Today, it stands as an $18 million monument to the extraordinary hidden inside the ordinary. And that, right there, is the entire philosophy of Rare Coins Info in a single coin. 3 Jefferson Nickels, 3 impossible stories, the 1958, worth $12 million, the 1990 P, worth $15 million, the 1997 D, worth $18 million, each one a 5-cent coin, each one a masterpiece hiding in plain sight, and each one a reminder that the world we think we understand is full of astonishments we have not yet discovered. And somewhere out there, in a coin jar, in a desk drawer, in an old mint set forgotten in an attic, one of these coins might be waiting for you.